Sam, you saw a film which is easier to watch, but more competently made.
Great segue. So pro.
And so did I.
That's an episode 98 segue.
Bam.
Yeah, we've both seen it. So this is a more contemporary film dealing also with race relations in the United States. Chirac, the new film by Spike Lee, who's had a very long checkered career as an American filmmaker. Some of his recent movies have not had a great reception, but this one was very well received, and now it's made it to UK shores. I watched it on Curzon Home Cinema. You can watch it in the actual cinema if you like, or you can watch it on demand, however you choose to watch it. So, set in Chicago, Chirac is a nickname for Chicago. It's a portmanteau of Chicago and Iraq, and that's a comment on the level of violence in Chicago, where there's like a crazy amount of gun violence, and it's essentially equivalent to a war zone, which the denizens have noticed, come up with a sort of witty name to sort of appellation to describe it. And it is based on Aristophanes' Lysistrata, a classical Greek comedy, which is a bit of a surprise.
Of course.
And in which the idea behind the original play is a group of women who withhold conjugal relations from their soldier husbands in order to try to prevent or end the Peloponnesian War. And in this case, it's gang warfare that is being targeted. And it's about a group of girlfriends and wives of gang leaders and members in Chicago, the Spartans and the Trojans, and they're trying to, by withholding sex from them, they want to try to end the violence, basically, and cause peace to happen. Here is a clip of Lysistrata herself trying to convince her boyfriend, who's also nicknamed Chirac, confusingly, or also known as Demetrius, played by Nick Cannon, and she's arguing with him over the sex strike. And that's intercut with Wesley Snipes playing another gang leader called Cyclops, who's arguing with his own girlfriend over the same topic. Could be a little bit of a confusing clip. I don't know. Deal with it.
Be so damn smart, you know you tweaking, right? You lame as hell playing games for real with this whack-ass panty stripe. And that's that shit we don't like. You wanna choose to be rude? Bitches gonna be tight when you make them lose their dudes.
I don't know you think you're trying to change. I'm Trojan through and through. That's stronger than any damn screw. It's even bigger than you.
All you care about is this tired gangster game. Well, it's lame. You think you die with fame? Negro, 2 days later, no one will even remember your name.
So, I watched this earlier today. So this is a one-day opinion. Mine hasn't had full time to percolate.
What is it?
I really liked it. I thought it was extremely good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I liked it in a number of ways. I think, like, just in general, a sign of a movie that you're really enjoying is when you're watching something and loads of things pop into your head that it reminds you of. I had that feeling when I was watching The Wailing, where you're watching things that's like, oh, it's like this, it's like this. And if you think of that of one thing, then it means the movie is derivative, but you think of like 15 things that it like makes it exciting. And Chirac is a very exciting film, and it's surprising it's made by someone who's in his third decade of filmmaking, because it has the kind of urgency and playfulness of a debut movie. It's kind of messy, if you wanted to be mean about it, but there's a lot going on in it. It's very angry and very playful at the same time, and it really knows its audience. It's not like the movie equivalent of an essay in the New York Times about gun violence. It's not like a collection of stats and like facts and stuff. And it's not going to leave you kind of stroking your chin thinking, wow, things are really tough in Chicago. Like, that's not the emotion once you leave the movie with. It's about, it leaves you kind of feeling exhilarated and also indignant. And you come away angry, but you feel like you've been taught the things you need to know to go out and change stuff. And it reminded me a bit of I, Daniel Blake, in that it's a very specific movie about a very specific problem. And it's very explicitly political, and you don't leave despairing. You leave wanting to go out and organize and change things. It's a movie that's also like Daniel Blake. It's a kind of tribute to what can be done when people come together. You know, there's a lot of like human kindness in it, and people working with each other. So the fact that it's based on a Greek play, I think, works on a number of levels. I think the fact that it's based on this like ancient sex comedy is a useful framework in that it is amusing. The whole, like, all the dick jokes and stuff work very well. At least they worked for me. I found them pretty hilarious.
Good dick jokes.
And it also, they've adopted from this more like formal theatrical background, this kind of verse structure, and a lot of the dialogue is delivered in verse. So I don't know. It's like it's something I'm still kind of processing a little bit, but it makes it kind of theatrical and formal in a way that increases its playfulness because it feels like it's not completely naturalistic, and they can get away with things that don't seem at all real because it's in that slightly heightened like world of theater. And it's also very directly related to the subject material because it's like rap, and one of the main characters is a rapper, and it invokes this form of black culture around hip hop and also around gospel sermonizing and like fire and brimstone speeches and that kind of cadence that you get with great black speakers like Martin Luther King and stuff. And it's kind of connects all that stuff together, and that kind of verse structure is like links all these different modes of theatrical rousing speech in a way that I find like really, really effective. And the domestic scenes where it's just like couples interacting are linked to the scenes where there's like a great sermon being delivered because it's all in the same, like it's all within that register, and it makes it seem not formal at all, but actually incredibly passionate, because rap is something that comes like straight from the heart. And so it's like this very, very emotive art form that has a kind of formal style, but that still affects you like extremely directly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it works extremely well. What did you think of it?
I agree.
Danny agrees.
End of the review.
Good.
No, I feel maybe I'm just reiterating what you're saying, but the idea that funny and serious are not opposites, and you can take a subject such as gun culture and gun violence, but by doing it in this sort of musical hip-hop Greek play way, it doesn't diminish the power of the message, but just makes it really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a movie which sermonizes you. There's literally a sermon in it, but you don't feel like you're being yelled at.
Yeah, and it's great. John Cusack delivers it for some reason.
John Cusack?
Well, it's really like...
Where's he been?
Yeah. There's all these like awesome black actors in it, and like the absolute centerpiece, most directly polemical part of the film is given to John Cusack, and he kills it.
He crushes it.
He absolutely crushes it.
Cusack, what a guy.
Yeah, I recommend it. I liked it.
Sick.
It's like a mixture between like filthy hip hop album and the Ava DuVernay documentary 13th.
Sounds sick.
So good.
Actually, what I've done sounds sick. I've seen it. It's sick.
Ooh, time for a break from all the film chat. Have a cup of tea, maybe make a quick snack, and telephone a friend so you know where she's at. Right, that's enough now, back to film chat.
So, Snowden, we're going to know who he is. He looks a bit like Sam, but he's really good with computers. So, Snowden is directed by Oliver Stone, written by Oliver Stone and Cara Fitzgerald, and it's the film of Snowden's life. It starts with Snowden, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt,